Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Sacred Heart University's Master of Physician Assistant Studies inaugural White Coat Ceremony. I will ask the audience to please stand and join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. My name is Ronald Jaglau. I'm the Director of Clinical Education for Sacred Heart University's PA program. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to our inaugural ceremony. I would like to take a moment and recognize Sacred Heart University's administration and faculty, as well as the students. Please stand when I call your name, just for a recognition from our university body. I see Dr. John Patillo, President of the University. I'm sure he'll be joining us momentarily. I see Dean of our College of Health Professions, Dr. Patricia Walker. I see Mr. Michael Ianezzi, Vice President for Marketing and Communications. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Michael Larabina, General Counsel for Sacred Heart University. We are also privileged to have former Lieutenant Governor Michael Fidel joining us today. We also have Associate Dean for the College of Health Professions, Gail Samperdale. I'd also like to take a moment and recognize the current adjunct professors and clinical preceptors for our PA program. Would Dr. Deborah List please stand up? Mr. Paul Pacenti. Our clinical preceptors, Michael Moy is here. There he is, way back there. And Elaine Arcorsini. I'd like to just introduce myself again. My name is Ronald Jaglau, and my role here is the Director of Clinical Education for our PA program. I have the privilege to join Sacred Heart University for the last 3 years as a new faculty member. And previous to that, I was working at Greenwich Hospital Emergency Department for the last 18 years as their Chief Physician Assistant. It's really an honor to be here and welcome our inaugural class. Our class has worked so hard to reach this day. At this point, I would like to welcome, to begin our program with opening remarks, the chair of our department and our program director, Dr. Teresa Thetford.
Good afternoon and welcome. Professor Jaglau, thank you very much for getting our program started today. And students, welcome. Congratulations on this big day. It's exciting. We're very excited to have everyone here today to celebrate this important day, our inaugural White Coat Ceremony for the Sacred Heart University PA program. There's been a lot of work and time, blood, sweat, and tears gone into this, and we wouldn't be here today without the administrators and the support of the people who were just introduced. So please join me in thanking them again. These 26 students have made a lot of accomplishments in a very short amount of time. First, they were selected out of almost 800 applicants for our inaugural class. This was before we even had earned our accreditation, and yet we had 800 applicants. Of those 800, we invited 150 interviewees, and here are our 26 that we chose, the top, the creme de la creme, and they have certainly earned it, and we're proud to have you in our program. There are a lot of trials and tribulations that happen in a robust, intense educational program like a PA program. We have 26 high-achieving folks here who have a low sleep environment, high stakes thing going on. So it's very common in PA school to have this type of stress, and yet they've endured. We've made it. It's been a year of both personal and professional growth for all of us. But one student told me, it's not the problems that define us, it's how we handle them that builds character and defines who we are. These are the kind of people who you want as your healthcare clinicians. Many of you in the audience know how challenging this year has been because you've witnessed it firsthand as the family and friends of these folks, these great students. So we want to make sure we acknowledge and thank you for your patience, your sacrifice, your unconditional love and support. To foster teamwork and collaborative practice, we do not select a valedictorian or rank our PA students, as we believe ranking students actually promotes competitive behavior rather than teamwork. But just about everything we do in our program is about teamwork. We have team-based teaching. We have team meetings, probably too many of them by what some of my faculty say. We have student problem learning and workshops that we do in small groups because we're trying to really foster and help them realize the importance of a team to make a difference in your patients' outcomes. That being said, we want to acknowledge the students and all they've done in their community service as a team. They have worked in small groups and teams and large teams, and they've gone out in just the last 6 months, and they did over 500 hours of community service learning. And they also raised over $3,400 at Stanford Hospital Foundation Hope in Motion Walk to benefit the Bennett Cancer Center. And I would like to acknowledge the student lead on that, Ms. Shannon Carroll, who organized that. Students also planned, organized, and hosted Fresh Check Day, a national suicide prevention program dedicated to educating college students about suicide awareness and prevention during their stressful college time. This was done under the direction of Professor Dr. Deborah List. Thank you, Dr. List. And also we had 2 student leads on this, and I'd like to acknowledge Erin McCann and Nicole Tittarelli for their leadership in this. Students participated in many other community events to include Stanford Boys and Girls Club, Bridgeport Salvation Army events, many events, probably too many to even name here. But every student participated, and that made a big difference in their communities, and I know that they will continue to provide community service as they go out and practice medicine. And this was done all on top of the rigorous studies we were just talking about, so it was really an amazing thing. I also want to acknowledge 2 students who have earned prestigious state and national awards. Ms. Pamela Jackson, if you'll stand, Pamela, please. Pamela received the prestigious Jeffery Heinrich Scholarship Award in March, funded by the Connecticut PA Foundation. This scholarship is awarded annually to one PA student in our state who most exemplifies community service. Congratulations, Pamela. I'd also like to acknowledge Ms. Sarah Bailey. Sarah. Sarah has just been selected as one of only 14 PA students in the nation to participate in the 2017-18 Physician Assistant Educators Association Student Health Policy Fellowship. The goal is to inspire and prepare fellows for grassroots advocacy that promotes the PA profession as an integral part of the healthcare system. Sarah will attend a 3-day conference and workshop in Washington, D.C. in September, where fellows will advocate on Capitol Hill. Congratulations, Sarah. So, to the inaugural PA class at Sacred Heart University, congratulations on your both professional and personal achievements this past year. This has been today is an amazing milestone in that achievement, and it's one step in your journey. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Dr. Thetford. At this point in the program, it is my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for this afternoon. We have the pleasure of having Dr. Sharon Kiley joining us today. Dr. Sharon Kiley is a Senior Vice President of Medical Affairs and Chief Medical and Patient Safety Officer at Stanford Hospital. Dr. Kiley's responsibilities at Stanford Health cover a vast area. She's responsible for risk management, safety, quality and case management, medical staff affairs, graduate and continuing medical education, clinical research, and above that, she oversees 11 clinical departments. Dr. Kiley has over 30 years of medical experience caring for patients. She's a board-certified internal medicine physician and spent her career as a leader in medicine, in hospitals, in the classroom, and various administrative positions. Dr. Kiley received both her bachelor's degree and her medical degree from Georgetown University and her master's degree in public management from Carnegie Mellon University with highest distinction. Dr. Kiley has taught medical professionals and medical students alike and currently serves as Associate Clinical Professor of Medicine at the Columbia University School of Medicine of College of Physicians and Surgeons. She has worked as a White House Fellow and serves an advisory role with the Department of Health and Human Services, helping direct policy and research on topics such as infectious disease and organ transplantation. Dr. Kiley is a true advocate for getting proper medical care to the underserved populations. While at Allegheny General Medical Center in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, she established her residency elective rotation in Haiti, helping medical residents learn about international health while providing much-needed help to the Haitian population. In numerous volunteer positions, she has helped the homeless receive medical care. She has also given many national presentations on how to combine medical education with care to the specific population of the underserved. At Stanford Hospital, she sets the clinical goals of the organization. ensuring patients receive safe and quality care. Dr. Kiley has been instrumental in the development of Sacred Heart University's Master Physician Assistant program. In fact, she led the Joint Steering Committee for the PA program to be at Stanford Hospital. Stanford Hospital has played a key and integral role in our success of our program. It was key to the development, success, and accreditation of our program, and will serve as the key clinical training site for all of our PA students during their core rotations. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sharon Kiley. Thank you so much.
I wish my mother was here. I think she would have enjoyed it. Thank you, Professor Jaglalal, for that kind introduction, and thank you, each of you, for being here today on this wonderful day. President Patillo, Dean Walker, it's been a huge pleasure to work with you. Faculty, staff, family, friends, and of course, the students, and I'm going to address most of my remarks to you. This is such an honor for me to be able to be here in front of you to present this inaugural address. Professor Yoon cornered me at the hospital the other day and said, "No stress, Sharon. It's just the first time they're ever going to have one of these." So thank you, Henry. That was great. I just want to say this has been among the career accomplishments that I have had, aside from my wonderful family, my husband, and my 4 children. Establishing this school will stand among the most important things I think I have ever done. Stanford's connection to this, and Mr. Fideli was our board chair at the time, was really critical in this. And to have your school on a clinical campus with the brand new hospital there, I think is going to be extraordinary for you. It just sets the tone for the collaboration between you and physicians and the rest of the healthcare team. So I'm not going to go in. I had a little bit about who I am, but you took care of that. But I will add that I have been very grateful for the 33-year career that I have had. And while some days have been easier than others, I'll tell you what, in the rearview mirror, I only see the good days. I love medicine. I absolutely love it. And you are entering into one of the most extraordinary professions, and you're going to just have so much fun. The thing you have to do, though, is to stay open to the opportunities that are presented to you. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of my experiences in that regard. I was trained as an internist in primary care residency program at St. Vincent's Hospital in Greenwich Village, New York. And those of you who know that institution know that it closed after 161 years of service to the community. But at the time I was there, it was exceptional. It was light years ahead of other programs that when I was applying to residency. And I'll tell you a funny story. I basically came to my interview, and my husband and I were in the couples match, for those of you who understand all that. But basically, the chairman of medicine said, "Sharon, why do you want to come to St. Vincent's?" And I said, "For your community medicine program, of course." And he said, "Oh, they're interviewing down the hall." But he was great, and he got me interviewing down the hall, and I did join the community medicine program. And my mentor, Philip Brickner, who started that program in 1973, brought teams of healthcare workers to the homeless, the homebound, the frail elderly. I had patients who would throw their key out the window to me in Little Italy. I, of course, stepped to the side. But they would drop their key down, I'd unlock the door, and we would go up the stairs and take care of people. And you learn more about a patient when you're in your home than you learn about them any other place. I trained as a member of a team. We went out with teams of nurses, social workers, PAs, nurse practitioners. Sometimes we brought Paulette, who scheduled the patient appointments, because then Paulette would then meet with the family members and coordinate all the care. I learned that alone I could not do the great things that we accomplished when the entire team worked together. I couldn't do that. So this was unusual for the time. And I had a lot of pressure about what I was going to do with my career. Aren't you going to specialize? No, I said, I'm going to be a generalist. I never know what I'm going to see every day. Every day is fresh. So the PA profession, as Dr. Thetford mentioned, was created to improve and expand healthcare over 50 years ago. And PAs practice medicine on teams. Today, more than ever, and expected to grow. Good news for you. You will find teams looking for you, expecting to work for you. It's a whole new world, thankfully, in healthcare. So today, as we celebrate the first white coat ceremony marking the crossroads between your clinical and non-clinical education, I want to talk about a couple of things. Firsts are very important. I'm sure your parents and family can certainly recall the first steps, first words, first birthday, first day of college, first iPhone. Or how many parents in the audience are still paying for the phones? Okay. I don't know how that started, but I'm still paying for my phones too. While all of these, but I want them to call me, so I'm paying for the phones. While all of these moments are really important, the thing that's most important about them really is about to prepare you for the what's next. So you take that first step, and your parents are standing there just imagining where you're going to run to. And they probably couldn't even imagine today. This is an awesome day. Your faculty remembers reviewing your first set of applications, interviewing, choosing the first class, you. Opening the new building, the first day of school, all these things setting into motion the possibility of a future to ensure their goal of improving access to quality health care in Fairfield County and your future as a physician's assistant. So now together with your faculty, you're set to experience another set of firsts, this time together. I'm sorry if this is a little loud. The clinical training, your profession as a physician's assistant, and this white coat that you'll be getting symbolizes this transition, as Dr. Thetford said. When I was in medical school, we did not have a white coat ceremony. We were instructed to meet the rep who was going to be selling us our equipment, our white coats, in the basement of Georgetown's medical school. He sold us black bags and equipment and other things we would need. It was a retail transaction. I think that speaks words about where medicine has progressed now into the healing part of the teamwork part. All of this is represented today. Having experienced this ceremony now, my son received his white coat last year, I really see this moment as a moment to reflect and to take stock. Taking stock means to spend time thinking about the situation that you're in before you decide what to do next. Now, most people here think you've already decided what to do next, but I'm going to try to emphasize how to do it. The what to do, let's say, is established. First, spend some time thinking about the significance of this white coat in the next phase of your education in the context of you as a unique person. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "Remember always that you not only have the right to be an individual, you have an obligation to be one." Today, in addition to your white coat, perhaps the most expensive coat you will ever own. Right? We all know that is true. I would like you to give yourself a gift that will last a lot longer than your coat. Today, I'd like you to write a letter to yourself and say what's really important to you. How do you want to spend this one special, unique life? How can you best contribute to your profession, to your family and your friends and your community? Today is a day to reflect on how you want to achieve your goals in your professional and personal lives. You're going to have to balance many, many things, sometimes conflicting influences in healthcare and in your life. You're going to need to make choices. Long hours, fatigue, and stress, it can be easy to lose sight of you in the process. So read that letter when you feel lost or overwhelmed and reset your course. You may change your mind from time to time, but you are the person who has to set that course. I had this experience when I took my first job. I had high pay and prestige, and I was completely miserable. My husband had reminded me that I was very happy taking care of the homeless population in New York City, and he pointed out that Pittsburgh seemed to have a lot of homeless people. What happened next changed the course of my career, ultimately to be appointed as a White House Fellow in the Department of Health and Human Services, and most importantly, I was happier and more fulfilled. So take care of yourself, eat, sleep, work, play, but most of all, have patience with yourselves. Second, spend some time thinking about how the white coat links you to your class. The coat will make you look like a class. We're going to take pictures, you're all going to look the same. But look deeper and you're going to see all the diversity among yourselves, and you're going to need each other's help to move forward as a class. Have a little competition. So you're the first class, but the second class, you can really start to differentiate yourselves. And we were the class that did this, and we were the class that did that. Start to come together as a class. Some of you will specialize and some will be generalists. And there's always a joke with generalists that I love to tell, and it is, what's the difference between a general practitioner and a specialist? Henry and I love this one. One treats what you have, and the other thinks you have what they treat. I love that one. All kidding aside, the work is going to be hard. It will challenge and fatigue you. So be kind to each other. Have fun with each other. Be honest with each other. You will need each other's help. Third, spend time thinking about how the white coat links you to your faculty. The pace of your learning, the pace of changes in healthcare are unprecedented. Ebola, Zika, all this stuff that you hear. You can't put on the news without hearing something scary in healthcare. It's really unprecedented. Your faculty actually considered what skills you would need when they designed the program for you, using the holistic admissions approach. Variables such as service, cultural sensitivity, empathy, I love that. Capacity for growth, emotional resilience, strength of character, etc. They were helping you before they knew you. They were helping you to be successful. Talk with your faculty and learn what they love about their field. As you try on each experience, be open to learning and reach out to them. You're going to need their help. Fourth, spend time thinking about how the white coat impacts your community, your friends, and your family. Certainly it signifies to them the progress in your education. That's very, very clear. But these are the people who knew you before all of this. They will help keep you grounded, stay connected to them, spend time with them. You need a life outside of school and work and medicine, and you're going to need their help. And finally, spend time thinking today about how your white coat impacts your patients. The patient is the core of why you're here. You will need their help most of all. You need their help in order to help them. And let me explain what I mean by this. One of my physical diagnosis professors told me that if you took an excellent history and did a complete physical, you could make most diagnoses most of the time. I thought he was crazy. I was in an academic medical center, CAT scans, MRIs, blood tests, etc. We were focused a lot on the labs, the results. Then I worked in a refugee camp in Thailand when I was a fourth-year medical student. We had no x-rays. We had no blood tests. We diagnosed dengue hemorrhagic fever by placing a tourniquet on our patients' arms, and then we would send them for hydration. I learned so much in that experience, and I returned to Georgetown thinking more about my patient here than with what was on paper. Patients have to be comfortable with you, to trust you, to reveal what is wrong with them. You are the historian when you perform a history and a physical. You need to unlock the story. Gather the information and piece it together. the patient's never a poor historian. It actually is one of the things that drives me nuts when I hear that, the patient was a poor historian. No, you're taking the history, you're the historian. Be careful that the white coat does not become a barrier. Pediatrics and psychiatry, white coats can cause anxiety, and we take them off. Along with the coat, the clinical years, you'll learn a new language. Be sure your language brings you closer to your colleagues, your friends, your family, and most of all to your patients. I know we all get tired, but when you start to see your language move from my patient, our patient, to room 782, bed 1, or the gallbladder, or the pneumonia, stop yourself. These words have power to transform us and those around us. There's a Navajo saying that says, be careful when speaking because you create the world around you with your words. So one last thing I ask of you. Put your hands out in front of you. Take a good look. These are going to become healing hands. You have within your power the right training and expertise from your faculty. These next clinical years will bring you even closer to that. These hands are changed today. You're preparing for this. The simplest gesture you might learn is the healing touch, because it may be all that you can do for your patients, is to gently touch them on the shoulder, let them know that you're there. Even if at the end of life, you can let them know that you're there. That may be all that you can do. Congratulations, best wishes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kiley, for that most inspirational and touching speech. Can we please give Dr. Kiley a round of applause, please? That was wonderful. I share her words with our students and how to embrace that as you're going to go on to clinical practice. To continue with our program, I wanted to remind our parents and our guests, we have a professional photographer for this part of the ceremony. We'll be taking pictures for the white cone donning. At this point, I would like to ask our faculty members to come join us on the stage, and Professor Pomerantz, if you can please join us. He'll be reading the names of the white coats. Students, if you can please stand.
Kamruz Ahmed, her reflection on the white coat is, my white coat represents a reminder for me to stay humble, work hard, and a commitment to lifelong learning. Sarah Bailey. Sarah's reflection is, my white coat represents my belief that healthcare is a human right, and I'll deliver that care equally and to the best of my ability. Vanessa Barber. Vanessa's reflection is, the white coat symbolizes my entry into a new community, a collaborative community of caregivers. It symbolizes the earned privilege and responsibility to provide compassionate, quality health care to those in need. Meredith Braga. Meredith's reflection is, my white coat represents my gratitude for being given the opportunity and knowledge to help and heal individual people, not just to treat illnesses. Shannon Carroll. Shannon's reflection is, My white coat represents my passion and lifelong commitment to being a patient advocate. Lauren Costaldi. Lauren's reflection is, my white coat represents a promise to care for patients with respect, empathy, and compassion. Jane Choi. Jane's reflection is, my white coat represents my lifelong selfless commitment in caring for all patients with compassion and respect. Jonathan Dale. Jonathan's reflection is, my white coat represents my mentor's wisdom, my family's love, along with the opportunity to extend a hand to those during a time of need. Fiona Donegan. Fiona's reflection, my white coat represents care, compassion, and the privilege to help those in need. Felipe Flores. Felipe's reflection, my white coat represents a lifetime of commitment to service, humility, and dedication. Christine Harper. Christine's reflection, my white coat represents the power of perseverance, devotion to easing the suffering of others, medical knowledge to heal the body, empathy to heal the spirit, and the privilege to make a positive change in the lives of those I encounter. Dana Faye Harold. Dana Faye's reflection, my white coat represents the privilege to make a meaningful impact on people's lives. Chase Hickson. Chase's reflection, my white coat represents a lifelong commitment to learning and serving the community with the intent of changing the world one patient at a time. Pamela Jackson. Pamela's reflection is bilingual. My white coat represents a lifestyle of compassion, dedication, and joyful service. Mi uniforme blanco representa mi estilo de vida, uno de compasión, dedicación y serviendo a otros con gozo. Molly Jeffery. Molly's reflection, my white coat represents my dedication to building a healthier community, one patient at a time. Catherine LaFleur. Catherine's reflection, my white coat represents my lifelong commitment to provide compassionate and unbiased care. Lubna Latif. Lubna's reflection, my white coat represents the privilege to serve others with compassion and humility. Maya Lewis. Maya's reflection. My white coat represents God's will for my life to serve my patients as if they were my family. Jessica Lobrego Fernandez. Jessica's reflection. My white coat represents my dedication to my patients and the privilege of their faith and trust in me. Christopher Marks. Christopher's reflection. My white coat represents the dedication and compassion I will deliver to every patient that grants me the privilege to be involved in their care. Erin McCann. Erin's reflection. My white coat represents the opportunity and responsibility to serve others with humility, kindness, and competence during their most vulnerable state. Nathaniel Murray. Nat's reflection. My white coat represents my devotion to my patients, my colleagues, and the PA profession. Avery Petrucci. Avery's reflection. My white coat represents the humbling tools I've acquired to share with patients, granting them the dedication and knowledge to heal. Sean Rothenberger. Sean's reflection. My white coat represents perseverance against all adversity. Nicole Tidarelli. Nicole's reflection. My white coat represents that I have been entrusted to help, heal, and make a difference in someone's life. Peter Zhang. Peter's reflection. My white coat represents my lifelong commitment to treat patients with compassion, dignity, and empathy. Bring back Professor Jaglar.
All right. Thank you, faculty. Thank you. You all may be seated. We have a very special part of our service. Next, we would like to invite Father Bruce Roby, our Sacred Heart chaplain of the university, to come up, please, for the blessing of the hands.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Well, you're going to receive the blessing of the hands. Just remind you, when I was ordained, I was right there, anointing in our hands. I received the anointing in my hands to be a priest, to be set aside, to give blessing to people. And every day when I wake up in the morning, I look at when I'm tired, I look at my hands, I say, I was blessed in my hands. I have to do the work that I've called to be from God. So today you are going to be set aside. We're going to bless your hands. As Dr. Sharon says, your hands will be the hands to give comfort and healings to us, your people, in the society. So remember, once you receive these hands, every day remember, You've been anointed, you've been called, that's your mission. You've been called by God to be the one to give healings, comfort to our people. So are you ready? Let's start.
Thank you, Father Bruce Roby. That was very special, and thank you for the community that we're here to share this with. It is my next privilege to introduce our medical director, Dr. Henry Yoon. Dr. Henry Yoon will administer the oath of the physician assistant practice. Dr. Yoon is our founding medical director for the Physician Assistant Program. In addition to his role with Sacred Heart University, he currently serves as the program director for the Stanford Hospital Columbia University Family Medicine Residency Program. He's also the medical advisor for the City of Stanford, Health Department, and Stanford Public Schools. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Henry Yoon.
You think I'm going to say something funny, don't you? You're waiting for that, but I promise not to. An oath is a solemn promise regarding one's future action or behavior. I hope that you remember fondly today that you take this pledge before your teachers, before your family, and before your peers. Would the class of 2018 please stand and repeat after me in reciting the Physician Assistant Professional Oath. I pledge to perform the following duties with honesty and dedication. I will hold as my primary responsibility the health, safety, welfare, and dignity of all human beings. I will uphold the tenets of patient autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice. I will recognize and promote the value of diversity. I will treat equally all persons who seek my care. I will hold in confidence the information shared in the course of practicing medicine. I will assess my personal capabilities and limitations, striving always to improve my medical practice. I will actively seek to expand my knowledge and skills, keeping abreast of advances in medicine. I will work with other members of the healthcare team to provide compassionate and effective care to patients. I will use my knowledge and experience to contribute to an improved community. I will respect my professional relationship with the physician. I will share and expand knowledge within the profession. These duties are pledged with sincerity and upon my honor. As you move forward in your training and in your careers, I urge you to reflect on this oath that you've stated today to guide you in your profession as you care for your patients. Thank you and congratulations. You may be seated.
Congratulations, students. I would like to turn our program over to our chair and founding program director, Dr. Teresa Thetford, to give some closing remarks. Please welcome Dr. Thetford.
Thank you. At this time, we're having the pinning part of our ceremony. And I'm going to have the students stand to do this, please. The pin is a reminder that the skills celebrated today need to be nurtured. You need to nurture it over your lifetime, and it reminds us that medical skill is a knowledge that it is not a possession, but rather one that is shared. It's not owned, but it is passed on to those in the next generation and those we work with. It's not a possession, it's to be shared. So in that light, what we're going to do is have each student turn to the student next to them and pin that student in the light of collegiality. Please go ahead and do so now. By the way, this idea of pinning each other was one of our students' ideas, and I have to give credit to student Fiona Donegan for this idea. Thank you. You may be seated. So in closing, I ask each student to remember how hard you worked to get here today. Even though your families might have witnessed it and seen it, and the faculty has seen it, you are the ones that know all the dedication. Talk about blood, sweat, and tears. You guys did it all. But you're here. You made it. And that's phenomenal. That's a huge milestone. Remember the words that you wrote for what your white coat means to you. And as Professor Yoon, Dr. Yoon mentioned, reflect on that oath. Reflect on your words today. There's going to be some days where it's so challenging that you have to remind yourself, as Dr. Kiley also said, of what's important to you and why you're doing this. What are you doing for your patients? Remember that patients will come to you during their most vulnerable time. They're often frightened or angry or in pain. They'll tell you things that they may not tell anyone else in confidence, trusting that you will do what's right for them, not what's right for you or what you think your clinic needs to do, but what's right for them. Always put your patients' needs before your own. Advocate for their care even when it's not popular or the easy thing to do. Remember that it's an absolute privilege to take care of people. They're trusting you. We owe them nothing less than compassionate and the highest quality care. Stay true to this value with honesty and dedication in all you do. Thank you also for being in our inaugural class. It's a privilege to have you. We're honored to have you, and we're extremely proud of you. Congratulations on this milestone.
Students, why don't you stand up, please? Thank you. It's an awesome achievement, well deserved. Thank you for that round of applause. This will conclude our program for today. Thank you, friends, family, distinguished faculty, and professors here. If you can remain standing where our students exit first and are followed by our faculty, and please join us for a reception following. Thank you so much.